I don't ease into the Aston Martin DBX 707. I'm pulled toward it. This isn't the kind of SUV that blends into traffic or politely waits for admiration. It stands there with the confidence of something that knows its numbers and doesn't feel the need to explain them. The DBX 707 doesn't try to redefine what an SUV is, it simply ignores the limits everyone else agreed to. From the front, the attitude is unmistakable. The massive Aston Martin grille dominates the face, wide and unapologetic, feeding air to a twin-turbo V8 that clearly has no intention of being subtle. The headlights are sharp, focused, and slightly intimidating, like they've already judged the road ahead and found it lacking. The hood stretches long and sculpted, reminding you that this SUV shares more DNA with Aston Martin sports cars than with anything you'd find in a school pickup line. As I move along the side profile, the proportions start to make sense. This is a large vehicle, but it doesn't feel bulky. The long wheelbase, wide stance, and muscular shoulders give it a planted, athletic look, almost like it's crouched and ready to launch. The 22-inch wheels fill the arches perfectly, hiding massive carbon ceramic brakes, because when you have this much power, stopping becomes just as important as showing off. The roofline flows smoothly toward the rear, keeping it elegant even as the bodywork hints at the violence available under your right foot. Step inside, and the mood changes completely. The cabin doesn't scream performance, it whispers luxury with a very confident tone. Leather wraps nearly every surface, stitched with the kind of precision that makes you forget you're in an SUV. The seats are deeply bolstered yet comfortable, designed to hold you steady when physics starts questioning your decisions. The driving position feels commanding without being overwhelming, and everything you touch feels expensive in a way that doesn't need branding to prove it. The digital displays are clean and purposeful, not flashy for the sake of it. You get exactly what you need: performance data, navigation, drive modes, all presented in a way that feels refined rather than distracting. And yes, there's space. Real space. Enough for adults to sit comfortably in the back without feeling like they're part of a compromise. This is one of the rare performance SUVs that doesn't punish you for bringing friends. Around the back, the DBX 707 keeps things restrained but confident. The slim LED taillights stretch across the width, clean and elegant, while the quad exhaust outlets sit low and wide, quietly reminding you that this is not a family SUV pretending to be fast. The diffuser is functional, the stance remains aggressive, and the overall look suggests that leaving quickly is this car's preferred method of exit. Now, let's talk about what turns this from impressive to borderline unreasonable. Under the hood sits a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8, tuned by Aston Martin to produce 707 horsepower and 900 newton-meters of torque. That number isn't marketing poetry, it's the reason this SUV can launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 3.1 seconds. In something this size, that feels slightly disrespectful to the laws of motion. Power is sent through a 9-speed wet-clutch automatic transmission and a sophisticated all-wheel drive system that constantly adjusts torque distribution, ensuring traction even when common sense has already left the conversation. The suspension is equally serious. A recalibrated air suspension system works alongside electronic dampers and an electronic rear differential, allowing the DBX 707 to stay flat and compose through corners that no SUV should feel this confident attacking. It adapts instantly, comfortable when cruising, brutally focused when pushed, proving that this car isn't confused about its identity. It simply refuses to choose between luxury and performance. And here's where the DBX 707 starts to feel almost unfair. Despite the power, despite the size, despite the absurd acceleration, it's easy to drive. Visibility is good. Steering is precise. The chassis communicates clearly. You don't feel like you're wrestling a beast, you feel like you're collaborating with something very capable. It's fast when you want it to be, calm when you don't, and always aware of exactly what it's doing. There's also a quiet sense of humor in how Aston Martin approached this car. They didn't make it loud just to be loud. They didn't overload it with unnecessary drama. Instead, they built an SUV that can outrun most sports cars, carry luggage, seat 5 adults, and still look elegant pulling up to a 5-star hotel. That kind of confidence doesn't shout. It just shows up and waits for everyone else to catch up. The Aston Martin DBX 707 isn't trying to be the most practical SUV in the world. It isn't trying to be the most comfortable either. What it's trying to be, and succeeds at, is the most complete expression of performance and luxury in an SUV body. It proves that speed doesn't have to come at the cost of refinement, and that luxury doesn't have to be slow. And maybe that's what makes it so dangerous. Not the horsepower, not the acceleration, but the way it makes all of this feel normal. Because once an SUV can do this, everything else suddenly feels like it's making excuses. And that leaves one question worth staying for. If this is what an SUV can be, what exactly is a sports car supposed to do next?